What's up, guys? This is Scoopman5000, and today we are going to be taking a look at the WWE Elite 2-pack D-Generation X, Triple H, and Chyna. This is a ringside exclusive, and the big seller, of course, is that this is the first time in the line for Chyna, the first ever Chyna figure that we ever got from Mattel, and one of Chyna's first figures in about 20 years. So this is a very significant moment for those of you who were fans during that time, fans of DX, anyone who wants to complete that DX shelf. These are essential figures to get. For the packaging, it's coming in that standard Elite 2-pack packaging, but it's done in the green effects. The D-Generation X logo up top really makes this like a special package. This is something I could see keeping in the box, actually. But of course, we're going to crack them open for review. On the side, you got an in-ring shot of Triple H and Chyna, and then you got renders on the other side. And on the back, you got those two renders again, and you got the read-up. In 1997, a woman debuted alongside Triple H. She wasn't a traditional valet, but rather an enforcer, the likes of which the WWE Universe had never seen. With Chyna in his corner, Triple H was unstoppable. Together, along with Shawn Michaels and Rick Rude, they formed the game-changing faction of the Attitude Era, D-Generation X. And that makes me wish that this was a 3-pack and we got the suited up Rick Rude. That's a figure that they definitely should have made by now. I would even say that the most current Rick Rude, you should have replaced that one with a suited DX Rick Rude. That'd be really cool. But enough on the packaging, let's get to it. Crack open these figures. We're going to start with Triple H. And here is your look at Triple H. And so this is a very early version of the character known as Triple H. He's still kind of the snobby Connecticut blue blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He's only starting to go by the name Triple H at this point. And you see that reflected in the ring gear and in the jacket and in the hands that are included with the figure. The only accessory really to Triple H himself. And we'll get to Chyna, who holds both of the belts. And then obviously the robe, and you can do that classic entrance pose. But the figure comes out of the package just like this with the robe, so let's take a look at that first. So the robe attaches with a little Velcro strap over here. Otherwise, it's done in that kind of bluish green. You got some floral kind of regal details going on the side here. I do appreciate the stitching going down here. You got the cuffs around the wrist, and then more of those designs going down here. This is really well done. It makes this figure feel a lot more special than it would have had it not come with it. And here you can get a good look at that Triple H posed up with his hands. And here is Triple H without that robe on. And even without the robe, you'd think that'd be the obvious go-to as a display option. But this figure looks excellent without it as well. I know with the recent Rick Rude that I just mentioned, that black robe that he had stained the figure, but I guess this is a lighter color, and it's actually a lighter fabric, I think. So no staining on the figure, which is always good. But let's take a look at Triple H's head sculpt. And I do feel like this is a head we've gotten before on Triple H. And even when you go to the paint on the eyes and everything, it doesn't look like photo real to me. It doesn't look like true effects. Something about it looks old school. Honestly, I think that's fine for this figure. You don't need too much detail in the face here. It's not like he has the beard or anything like that. Torso is a standard Elite torso. It's a bit thinner than the current day Triple H's, which I guess you could say is accurate to the 1990s version of Triple H. Of course, he's got his white wrist tape. And then down at the tights is really where this figure shines. So we got the printed on belt buckle, which is whatever. Obviously, it'd be nice if it was sculpted, but I can live with that. Nothing on the back of those tights. Then down to the legs here, we got that inner thigh design painted in blue on Triple H, and that's painted pretty well. And then even on the back, you see that. And then really cool here on the knee pads, we got those Triple H Hunter Hearst Helmsley logos. And then down at the boots, we got the same old Mattel Elite boots. But yeah, a simple figure, but it's a great Triple H, and it's a great rendition of him from this time period specifically. And I don't think there's too many other options for this kind of Triple H in your collection. But I do love the tights that Triple H wears in this time period, and I love the old school Triple H in general. So it's really cool to have this version for my collection. Now let's quickly go over some articulation. So the head is going to be a little bit limited due to the big hair. I didn't pick up on the braid before too, that's a good sculpt. But yeah, so the rotation is going to be a bit difficult to do. The head's really not going to look back much, and the forward isn't that great either. Standard Elite torso, crunching back that much, crunching forward that much, and the arms are going to rotate, shoulder hinge, swivel at the bicep, single jointed elbow, and then the wrist is going to rotate, and it's going to hinge. We got the swivel at the waist, ball joint at the hips, you have the cut at the thigh, double jointed knee, cut at the boot, foot's going to go back that much, forward that much, and you do have a slight rocker to the boot as well. We'll quickly go ahead and do some size comparisons for Triple H. Here he is with the basic Roman Reigns and basic Seth Rollins, and here he is with the Elite Roman Reigns and Elite Seth Rollins, and then here he is with his Ultimate Edition counterpart, and of course the Ultimate Edition Shawn Michaels. But overall, this Triple H is awesome. I'm a big fan. But let's get to the real excitement of this 2-pack, and that is the first ever Chyna. And here is Chyna, and this is a phenomenal figure. looks for the most part to be a new sculpt, which is always good. Before we get into the figure herself, let's get into those belts. These are some great elite-style championship belts. We got the classic Winged Eagle WWF Championship, and then the European Championship, which I don't own, and that's really cool to have. So here's the Winged Eagle Championship. A really good chrome on this, probably better than usual, I would say. And this is World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, back when your belts could say wrestling on them. But yeah, great detail on this, and I really like the thicker strap, too, on this guy. It's going to make it a bit more sturdy. Of course, you got the usual 4 pegs on one side and the holes on the other to go around the waist. And then looking at the European Championship, this is a belt design I've always loved. It's not even a belt that I personally grew up with. It's a bit before my time, but I love this design. I always use it in the video games, and this is a belt that I definitely want WWE to bring back, if they were to bring back any. There's a photo shoot they did a couple years ago with some of the current guys holding retro championships, and you ever seen the photo of Rusev with this title, you know it was made for him. But yeah, I love the European Championship. I will say, I'm pretty sure this was a WWF logo. I don't know why they wouldn't go ahead and put in the WWE logo. It's totally red up here. That looks kind of strange. But other than that, gotta love the European Championship. Very ornate, very classic looking wrestling belt. And like I said, one of my favorite designs for a wrestling belt. And then we'll bring Chyna back in real quick. The only other accessories she's going to come with are these fisted hands. Now, if you look at the hands next to Chyna's hands here, Chyna's hands seem to be brand new, but these fisted hands are kind of reused from older female figures. Yeah, I mean, if you look at that, that's a really tiny hand on Chyna. I do wish they kind of went the extra mile and gave us the fist hands in this size. This seems like a brand new hand to me. This is much more accurate. Fits the figure's arm much better. The fist aside, this has to be one of the best female figures Mattel has ever made. Of course, there's so much new sculpt going into her because of how much bigger she is and how much more muscular she was than all the other women. But we'll start out with the head sculpt. Yeah, that's a perfect Chyna head sculpt for this time period. It's kind of before she had all the work done, before she was with Eddie Guerrero as Mamacita. This is the much more brutish, original Chyna that we had. Of course, we got the bangs, hairstyle, and all that. Going all the way back, that's a really good sculpt, and that looks much more like a modern photo-real face on Chyna. And then she's even got this choker accessory here, little chain in the middle, and then some studs going on the side of it. That's a really cool accessory. And then down at the torso, I'm inclined to think this is brand new, but it does have the same issue here, where the paint actually goes higher than the cut here. I wonder if they made the sculpt first and then maybe decided that the cleavage was too much and they painted more of it. That's kind of weird though. It doesn't look right. Looking at the figure, you would think the paint would end here where the sculpt ends, but you see it goes a bit further up. But other than that, this is a good top for Chyna, accurate and all. And then going to the back, you just got the one strap going down. And while we're here, we could check on that little shoulder tattoo for Chyna as well. This lower part of the torso may or may not be reused. I can't really tell. And then going to the arms, these big muscular arms that Chyna had, of course. You could especially see it here in the bicep, how much bigger it is. And then even in the forearm here, that little muscle there. Very good detailing on here. I'm sure these will get more reuse as we get more Chynas. And maybe even on the Beth Phoenix that's coming out. And yeah, the hands, not something I'd usually highlight on a figure, but these look brand new to me. And then really nice red nails on there as well. Really well painted. Looks really good. And then we go down to the belt here. I love these sculpted kind of handcuff belt design here. Looks great. And on the back, we got more studded design. And then all the way down the tights here, we got some painted on rips in the tights. And of course, these are way more muscular legs than we're even used to. I wonder if these are actually even just men's legs. I'm not really sure if they're brand new for Chyna. They're not quite Triple H's, but they're not too far off either. And then down at the calf, this appears to be brand new. And these really awesome boots that they did for Chyna. I feel like this is something they didn't necessarily have to do, but they really went the extra mile with these. We got the tongue of the boot sticking down. And then we got these awesome straps sculpted on here. I feel like this is something they would have painted, would have forgotten about. But I really do love the design work on the boots here for Chyna. Now let's go over some articulation for Chyna. Her head is going to be limited by the hair, so you're not going to get much movement in the head, but I don't think that's too big of a deal. You're not going to look back at all, and really not forward at all either. Of course, as a female elite, she's on a ball joint for the torso, and I do prefer this. Obviously, this is the route they go with Ultimate Editions. You get a really awesome range of motion on Chyna. Gonna go back that much, and forward that much. Shoulders, on a usual swivel. Cut at the bicep, weak single jointed elbow, and the wrist is gonna rotate, and it's gonna hinge. We got a swivel at the waist, ball joints at the hips, swivel at the thigh, got the double jointed knee, cut at the boot, which is kind of limited by the sculpt. Overall, I'm blown away with this Chyna figure. Now let's get to it and do some comparisons. Here she is with the Evolution 2-pack, Trish Stratus and Lita. And even as basics, I love the heights with all these. They're the perfect heights. Trish Stratus is the shortest, Chyna's the tallest, and Lita's a bit in between. And here she is with the Elite Becky Lynch. and Ultimate Edition Ronda Rousey. And here's a better look at her with the included Triple H and the Ultimate Edition Shawn Michaels. And here's both figures together again. Overall, this is a great 2-pack, essential for your Attitude Era display. If you're building a shelf for the Attitude Era, you gotta have a proper DX. You throw in that Ultimate Edition Shawn Michaels, and you have the perfect OG version of DX. You only just gotta get your suited Rick Rude somehow. I hope Mattel does make that now that we have these 3 perfect figures. Otherwise, go pick up your Triple H and Chyna 2-pack. So that's gonna wrap it up for the video. If you enjoy videos like this, other action figure reviews, stay right here on the Scoopman 5000 YouTube channel. And of course, I'm going to leave it off with some photos that I took of the figures.